For decades, the public image of a teen with an eating disorder has been specific: a young woman staring into a mirror, dangerously underweight. Because of that stereotype, parents and educators learned to rely on visual cues. We treated the bathroom scale and shrinking clothing as our warning system, assuming if a child were truly sick, we'd see it. Clinical data tells a different story. Tracking teen eating disorder hospitalizations, you see a dramatic spike following the pandemic, with rates suddenly doubling. Expanding this chart to compare mental illness mortality rates, eating disorders rank at the very top. We face record hospitalizations and severe mortality risks, yet adults frequently miss the early warning signs because they are scanning for a physical profile that no longer fits the majority of patients. Step into any crowded high school hallway today, and you will walk right past the reality of this crisis.
The presentation of adolescent eating disorders has shifted, creating new symptoms and behaviors that most adults simply do not recognize. A teenager can be suffering from a severe, life-threatening eating disorder without ever looking physically ill or dropping below a normal weight. Because physical deterioration is often absent, relying on a wait-and-see approach to intervention is actively dangerous. To understand why we miss the signs, we have to look at atypical anorexia. This involves intense restrictive eating behaviors and severe anxieties around food, completely without an underweight body status. This specific, hidden presentation is now the single most common eating disorder profile found in adolescents today. This flowchart maps out a traditional medical BMI screening process. A patient with atypical anorexia goes through the standard checks, registers a normal weight, and slips right past the risk detection checkpoint entirely unnoticed. The core medical issue is the underlying behavioral pattern. When the flowchart adjusts, replacing the BMI checkpoint with a behavioral screening, we finally capture that exact same patient. The illness lives in the daily routines, completely independent of the number on the scale. Relying on an outdated metric like weight gives parents and medical providers a false sense of security, allowing the illness to progress quietly in the background. At home, these warning signs often masquerade as healthy choices. A teenager might suddenly adopt rigid food rules, announce unprompted veganism, or develop an intense obsession with clean eating. The physical toll is also disguised as dedication. A teen might engage in secret exercise routines or push themselves through visible exhaustion on the track, treating workouts as a way to earn their meals. Socially, you will see subtle withdrawal. They start avoiding family dinners or suddenly have perfectly logical excuses to skip birthdays, sleepovers, and other food-centered events. The patient demographic is also incredibly broad. This demographic visualization shows the current patient ratio. 1 in 3 people with an eating disorder today is male. Our cultural script for who gets an eating disorder is so narrow that adults routinely overlook these exact behaviors in boys, in athletes, in high-achieving honor students, and in students of color. The data proves that this illness happens at every body size, in every race, and across every economic background. By hiding behind our own biases and disguised behaviors, the crisis operates in plain sight. Schools and parents need a diagnostic approach that matches the current reality. We have to stop evaluating teenagers visually and transition entirely to cognitive and behavioral screening. The starting point is a free 2-minute eating concern screening. As this digital interface shows, you can access the tool directly at chcttherapy.com/mental-health-tests. This specific screening is designed to capture behavioral risk independently of a student's BMI, identifying the dangerous habits that traditional scales miss. Parents and educators should take this assessment together with the child, or complete it on their behalf if necessary, to immediately establish a baseline of awareness. Moving from a weight-based scale to a behavioral screening is the only accurate method for identifying risk in today's adolescents. A positive screening result is frightening, but there is an immediate support infrastructure ready for Georgia schools. MentalSpace School provides comprehensive, localized care. They offer same-day teletherapy intakes, connecting families directly with dedicated, culturally competent therapist teams who specialize in eating disorders. The care is highly accessible. MentalSpace School accepts major private insurances and offers Medicaid coverage at zero out-of-pocket cost. The platform also safely integrates directly into existing school infrastructures, maintaining full HIPAA and FERPA compliance. Update your toolkit today. The cost of this behavioral screen is 2 minutes and $0. Eating disorders carry the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. Continuing to wait for a child to look sick could easily cost them their life.